Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to Piraeus, Greece. This is the FIBA Women's EuroBasket Game Day 1 Group A, and the battle between France and Turkey. This one tips things off, and then it'll be the host Greece taking on Switzerland. Big opportunity for the Swiss, making it to the EuroBasket women. And here are the current rankings, the FIBA Women's World Ranking presented by Nike, France, Turkey, Greece, and Switzerland. So you can see that France, who have made it to a lot of finals in recent times at the FIBA Women's EuroBasket, also played in that thrilling Olympic final last summer against the USA. One of the favorites, if not the favorites, of this competition. So I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Shona Thorburn. And Shona, as we see the players being introduced here, the real stuff starts now. They got to be ready.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you know, game day one, it's always an opportunity to maybe knock off a potential winner if you're Turkey. You know, you want to take advantage early. France, on the other hand, you mentioned it, they played in a lot of finals. They have medaled every year since 2009, but they have not brought home the gold since 2009. Could this possibly be the year? I'm not sure. Silver medalists from last year's Olympics. But it's a new team. We have 6 new players on this French team. And right now, if I'm Turkey, I'm kind of licking my lips saying maybe I can knock off one of the top teams in the world at the first game of this year's Women's EuroBasket.
Jean-Ahmed Toupin, the head coach, and I think you can only judge him by his record, and certainly he's done a good job. He's coming into this to win, and I think anything but winning the title is going to be a disappointment for France at this competition, speaking objectively.
Yeah, you know, they talk about that every 2 years when we're talking about the EuroBasket. Who should win? We're always picking France, and unfortunately they don't end up winning. You know, we joked at the last EuroBasket that they got bronze, and they actually won on the last game day, where normally they're used to losing. So we'll see. It'll be a big game, a big tournament for France, and they might have a lot to prove.
So Turkey, coached once again by Ekrem Memnun. They got some players with some big-time EuroLeague women experience, playing with Fenerbahce, for example, and we're going to talk more about them as the game progresses. Kind of an unknown, really. You know, we feel like maybe this Turkey team is maybe a little bit short of talent that we've seen in previous seasons, but maybe that allows them to fly under the radar a little bit, and they're going to surprise us.
You know, all of these Turkish players, for the most part, play in Turkey, so they're used to good competition throughout the season. Like I said, why not? Go after one of the best teams in this tournament on game day one if you're Turkey.
So now we're going to have the national anthems for France and Turkey.
First, the national anthem of France. Ο εθνικός ύμνος της Γαλλίας. Please remain standing for the national anthem of Turkey. Παραμείνετε όρθιοι για τον εθνικό ύμνο της Τουρκίας.
All the qualification games that had to be won, all the practices, teams showing up for the summer, putting in some hard hours on the practice court. And it all comes down to this now here at the FIBA Women's EuroBasket. And let's just be honest, to come to Piraeus, to come to Athens, it is special every single time, even for the referees. And the referees today, Gert Jacobs from Belgium on the left, Ariana Chueca, the crew chief in the middle from Spain, and Natasha Dragijevic from Montenegro on the right.
From Montenegro.
Well, we know France is a powerhouse. Their starting five today will be Valeriane Yayi, Iliana Rupert, Janelle Salon, Mina Touré, and Romain Bernice, a veteran guard, Brochant, Foposi, Badian, Puy, Jaldi Tabdi, Locan, and Astier coming off the bench for Jean-Nommé Toupin.
And obviously a big year had by Iliana Rupert. You know, they talk about her championship back in 2022 with the Las Vegas Aces, of the WNBA, but this year in EuroLeague with Mersin, she really upped her level and her competition. She was one of their go-to players offensively and defensively, and you really saw a big growth in her game. I think this tournament could be her tournament, and this team could almost become hers in the future. She's still young, she progresses every year, she's just exciting to watch.
And for Turkey, the starting five today, Ojai Shakur, Kara McCowan, the naturalized center from the States, Alpre Onar, Fenerbahce star Tilbe Sinurek, and Sinem Atash. And a lot of good players coming off the bench as well. And we're going to look at Sevgi Uzun.
Well, Uzun, you know, one of those players, plays for Fenerbahce, probably gets some of the most minutes in EuroLeague and in the Turkish league during the regular season, during the pro season, I guess you could say. And she's going to be someone very, very important coming off the bench for them. I think if you're Turkey, though, you go inside right away to McCowan, and you make France have to defend a big inside post player.
Ekrem Memnun, the head coach once again of the Turkey women's team, and I'm not sure if you could see it, but he ruptured his Achilles at the start of training camp, and he's wearing a boot. So not only does he have the challenge of coaching at this high-level tournament against a team like France, but he has to do it in a boot.
Yeah, I talked to him before the game, and we laughed a little, and he goes, you know, I was working with some of the injured players, and I drove to the basket trying to pass out to them, and he goes, I forgot, I was never a driver, I was just a shooter.
Dear. Jean-Nommé Toupin, the head coach.
Well, you know, what has he done with France? They have a silver medal. They have a bronze medal since he took over from EuroBasket. Sorry, that silver medal back at last year's Summer Olympics. And, you know, he could make history if France can come away with a gold medal at this year's EuroBasket and kind of become a staple in France basketball history for the women's side if he can get that gold medal.
So the start of what promises to be an exciting Group A. Again, France, I'm guessing everybody's favorite to finish first, but sometimes that can be a burden more than an advantage. They've got to go out and prove it. Tara McCowan getting a little bit of extra treatment here before the game. And as you said, Turkey probably do well to get her the basketball early and often.
Absolutely.
Let's play ball.
Well, hello everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to Piraeus, Greece. The FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2025 is underway here in Group A. It's Turkey winning the opening tip, attacking the basket to the right, and they go straight at Rupert with McCowan.
And that's what they have to do. You go inside to the player who picked up 24 points and 10 rebounds during the qualifiers.
And now a quick turnover, little miscue on the inbounds pass. And a chance for Turkey to kind of establish themselves further here. And the drive, and there is one of the Fenerbahce stars. Onay misses, so that's a golden opportunity. Rupert from the baseline. And Ojai Shakir has the rebound. Now a three-pointer, and that is a good-looking shot from number 20, Atash.
Nice little start, and I really like this matchup between Ileana Rupert and Tiara McCowan because they actually played for a couple months together in Mersin, FIBA Women's EuroLeague. McCowan wasn't able to play on the EuroLeague team, but she was in Mersin. They obviously know each other from playing against each other, competing against each other in Turkey as well.
Well, Rupert, another Mersin star. So Mersin fans excited about the start of this, one of the big-time clubs in the EuroLeague women. And every time I'm looking over to Ekrem Memnun, the head coach of Turkey, I'm just nervous. He's wearing the boot. It doesn't look too comfortable as Shakir goes to the line. Made her FIBA Women's EuroBasket debut back in 2015.
Yeah, she's one of the veterans. There's a reason why she is a captain and the leader of this team. You know, played the majority of her career in the Turkish league as well. She's been a FIBA EuroLeague women's staple also.
Well, a little bit of debate here. Referees looking for some help, and it's going to be Turkey that get the basketball. So again, even with the missed free throw, they've got the benefit of the call, and Ekrem Memnun couldn't have asked for a better start to the game. Inbounds pass quickly, Onay puts it up. That's a good look. Rami Bernays. Here's Valou. France not shy about putting up the jumpers, and this time the basketball will stay at this end.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Putting up the jumpers, I think France needs to be a little bit more aggressive and try and attack the basket. I know they've only had a few shot attempts, but all of them have been from outside the paint.
Bernice. Back outside to Rupert. Now she puts it on the deck and she gets in. That is a big-time move from Rupert. And that's going to be tough to stop for McCowan. They played against each other in Turkey as well. Here's McCowan. Wow, that is a weapon.
You know, that help side really needs to be there. You saw Salon come a little bit too late. She's maybe not going to come up and steal, but she's trying to tip the ball, make it difficult for McCowan, because right now France,
for the second time,
needs to almost front the post and not allow the direct pass.
And for the second time, they can't even get the ball inbounded without holding on to possession. So already some concerns for France in this opener. And an offensive foul called by the Spanish referee. A push, a lead with the elbow perhaps. Here's another look with Rupert, and this is where she'll be tough to stop because she is versatile. Nice drive, Miniatori, but misses the layup. Senjuric with the rebound. Shakir up to Onay. Onar puts it on the deck. Back outside, Senjuric. She's open, she can shoot it for a big, but it's short. And the basketball goes out of bounds. And I guess really one of the big questions is how many minutes can McCowan play
I mean, she's used to playing big minutes. Well, you know, she
effectively.
Effectively, she was there last the last FIBA EuroBasket competition back in 2023. Was their top scorer, their top rebounder, almost a double-double, 14 and 8, I believe it was, around those numbers. But they only went 1 and 2 in that competition. Didn't get out of group play.
And another jump shot. This time rattling it in. Salon.
You know, if there's a player who has a better jump shot in the women's game right now here in Europe, I would like to make that bet with you, because I think Janelle Salon has one of the purest, most consistent jump shots in the game.
Nice ball movement. 3-point shot. Count it. And it's Checker this time, the captain. And they are getting some good looks.
They really are.
Bernice doesn't hesitate, pulls up. And Checker with the rebound. Jean-Ami Toupin barking out orders from the French sidelines. And, well, throwing the basketball where it didn't need to be thrown. Salon gets it back. Nice little give and go.
That was a better job coming from the help side. You know, Indiana Rupert putting in the effort, trying to get around and not getting sealed in the low post, and they come up with a steal, easy 2-point basket.
McCowan catches it again. How do you stop it?
Again, she was a little bit late. 2 times it's been Janelle Salon. She came up with the steal the second time, but right there, you need to just give up, have a hard closeout, give up that skip pass to the shooter.
Here's a 3 from Rupert over the backboard. They chase it, it goes out of bounds. But what's striking to me is that Turkey, except for that one turnover, making the entry pass so high that even if the help is there, she's still got a great chance of catching and scoring.
That's what I mean. You're not coming up with the steal, but in my opinion, Janelle just needs to try and go up, jump, and tip the ball. She won't catch the ball, she won't touch the ball, but just tip the ball out of the hands of McCowan.
Oh, going out, Atash. And from the baseline, and Salon right on cue. Another jump shot. And she has closed the gap. Usman in the game, number 2. Chucker. They find Onar in low. She goes up with the right hand, and she is pushed and fouled. Interesting that she goes to the right hand there. If she goes to the left hand, watch this.
It was a good job, though, using her body to protect the ball and going up with her more dominant hand on that replay.
And one substitution for France, number 98, Pauline Astier.
Pauline Astier coming into the game for the first time.
And her first competition with the senior women's team. And I think Astier is a name that we are going to be saying a lot in the future. Another one of those young players, has had a couple good seasons with Tango Bourges in the French League and the Women's EuroLeague, Women's Euro Cup, and she's heading to, well, the reigning champions next year, going to Prague.
And here it is on the break, France, and that is tough to stop, and Salon just lays it up and in. Great pass, great counterattack. And you almost just have to give it to her. Chucker kind of ran past but reached in and committed the foul there just with the reach. And one, Romy Bernet says. Everything Salon puts up goes in. 9 points already, and the game's not even 5 minutes old.
I mean, if you look at her season that she had this past EuroLeague women's season with Famiglia Schio in the Italian League and in the FIBA Women's EuroLeague, and what she has done with the new team, the Valkyries, San Francisco Valkyries in the WNBA, she is someone who has definitely elevated her game and, you know, wants to be a star for this next generation.
Uzun has it. Senric back to the basket. Backs her all the way down. Little turnaround, gets blocked by Valu Ayayi. Badian sets the pick, gets it back. She's open from the wing. Senric with the rebound and is fouled by Lacan. I mean, she gets the foul because it's a reach, but look at the block from Ayayi.
Yeah. And Senric, you know, she is known as a three-point shooter. She's more of that pick and pop kind of a post player, but she does have an advantage, a little bit of an advantage on Ayayi, and maybe you need to get her a little bit more in the post, especially when McCowan is not on the court.
So McCowan asking for the basketball in the low post. Good defense, Salon. Oh, over and back is the call. $13 apiece after the great start. And that's just careless from Olcay Şakır. And yeah.
I do think Salon maybe, but what, did she have her 2 feet over before she got the ball?
Ayayi missing. Ball goes out of bounds. I mean, on the evidence of what we've seen from France, if they can really grow in this tournament, you've got a few players here that could contend for the MVP award. Ayayi, Salon,
Rupert.
Here's Salon. She's already got 9. Oh, she bricked that one. Onar, probing. Puts it on the deck. Back to Senric. Puts it up from deep. Quickly go France from the right corner. Salon misses her 2nd in a row. Little heat check. Uzun attacking. Şakır drives in with the left hand. Beautiful basketball from Olcay Şakır.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job when they're able either to get the ball inside, but France are really pressuring the ball, and I think that the Turkish guards, when they're over-pressured, they're sweeping and trying to get to the basket.
Well, that foul before the shot as Lacan drove in. Just a little bit of a push from Onar. Şakır's going out, Senric is going out. Coming into the game, Erdoğan, number 17. Also coming in is Elif Bayram. Well, look at that, Astier drives in, oh. Misses the shot, but a foul. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Astier is a big part of the future for France, especially the way she's able to take on defenders with the dribble.
Yeah, you know, for a point guard, and, you know, I do think she is a point guard, where maybe a Lacan is more of a combo guard for them. You know, she's tall, she can find people, she can pass over smaller defenders, and I think she has a bright and a very interesting future. And I'm excited to see what she's going to do next year in Prague. And, you know, playing outside of France is not easy when you've grown up and played your whole young career in one country.
She's guarding Erdoğan. Erdoğan gets it into the paint, and she's pushed. Badian. Just some of the hands. Maybe calling it a little tight, but that does Turkey a favor as it puts Erdoğan at the free throw line. The left-handers always look so much better, don't they? I don't know what it is. It just looks slick. She makes the first. Erdoğan with Galatasaray. One of their stars makes both. Well, it's one thing we've learned already for France. You don't want to foul her. Badian gives it up to Astier, guarded by Uzun. Now they switch. Brochant for three. Wow, talk about weapons coming from the bench.
And you know, look right now, we have Astier.
Telegraph pass and another over and back as Byram not able to control it.
You have Astier for France, you have Brochant for France making their first appearances on the senior team, already coming in and making an impact immediately when they step onto the court. As a coach, you can't really ask for much more.
Yeah, can't ask for no hesitation. And fourth turnover of the game for Türkiye. Lacan, Brochant, two in a row. Talk about instant offense. And just like that, France have taken the lead.
You know, you're taking out Salon and you say, well, how are we going to miss some scoring? No, Brochant says, don't worry about it.
Uzun left open. Good job, Byram knocking it out to Onar. And another foul and more free throws for Türkiye.
You know, I wish we could see that heads-up play by Byram there on the offensive rebound. I don't know if she'll be credited there. We see
that's a good-looking shot.
Two threes, second three-pointer in a row, second possession down. But Byram, great offensive rebound with the. She had the whereabouts to know she wasn't going to be able to come down with it, but she knew where her teammate was. And, you know, I talk about the young French players and how they have a great future. I really think Elif Bayram for Turkey is going to be someone incredibly exciting to watch as the future continues for her and this Turkish team. She's going to get big-time playing minutes, and I think if Turkey can get out of group phase, we're going to see her continue to play more and more for this team.
Badian's pass intercepted by Uzun. Sevgi Uzun brings it back outside. And another bump. This one by Brochant's going to put Türkiye on the free throw line, and this time it'll be Bilgic.
I think it was Fittik actually getting to the basket there on that last play.
Excuse me, Fittik.
And what I
like Biljic's sister.
Yeah, just a little bit. And, you know, what I like about this Turkish team is I was a little bit worried when their starters were going to go to the bench, like an Okay Çakar, Turgut. And, you know, now they get to take McCowan out, but when Sinerik, you know, their 4-player, probably one of their most experienced players, went to the bench. And it's kind of the second rotation players for Turkey. We had a great start by Turkey. Don't take that away. But the level has not dropped, and that's very, very important.
Astier bringing it up the floor. Well, you got a lot. You know, you got a lot of players with EuroLeague women experience.
Yeah, you do.
And EuroCup women. Astier over the Brochant. She gets it down low, and that is tough to stop.
It is.
Jaldi Tabdi with her first bucket.
And again, her first bucket as a senior women's competition. Every one of these young French players have already scored in their first game at their first tournament.
Beautiful drive from Uzun. Little hesitation and decided to take it all the way. They tried to trap Brochant just as she got to midcourt. Astier back to Brochant. Nice passing by France. Le Bleu. Salon. Ball goes out of bounds. Lacan, excuse me. Ball goes out of bounds.
I think she might have had a layup there. It was a little bit just too unselfish. And how about that little hezzy by Uzun getting all the way to the basket? And another one of those, you know, you said it, experienced Turkish players. They have a lot of players who play on big EuroLeague or EuroCup teams. Maybe limited minutes, but they're kind of proving, hey, you know what, coach, next year maybe I should play a little bit more.
Always say the same thing. Here's Uzun again, and she is fouled by Brochant. And another trip to the free throw line for Turkey. They've already attempted 10 free throws. And Uzun sees the opportunity to put the ball on the deck and go.
Yeah, and we saw it in the first, the starting five for France. They like to get up, they like to pressure, they like to maybe over-pressure the ball a little bit too much. And these two teams played each other the first preparation game back in May. And I'm sure Turkey, Coach Ekram said, you know what, guys, if they're over-pressured, drive to the basket.
We saw the rankings before, and again, France, okay, they've got some new players, good rebound, Jaldi Tabdi, but this is a basketball country, and right now Turkey, also a basketball country, giving them everything they want and more right now.
I actually don't mind that foul by Fittek because they did have a foul to give. You don't want to let France set up, get to the basket, kick and drive situation. So why not? She went for the ball.
Yep.
Maybe she went with her left hand. She might have been able to come up with it.
SDA is going to inbound at 5.9 seconds on the game clock. Brochant shows she's human, misses, and Fittek is going to get a chance. And was just a little rushed maybe right there at the end, but I tell you what, Turkey stabilized things when it started to look like France had the wind in their sails at the end of one. Turkey lead it 23-22 over France.
Well, and then we'll get a quick look at statistics here. And, you can talk about shooting percentages pretty equal, but the biggest difference that you mentioned right before the end of the quarter, free throws, 12 free throw attempts compared to just 3 for France. I mean, that's kind of what separated this first quarter. But I don't think it's a refereeing thing. I think they are real fouls. And I think the big difference is Turkey know France are going to pressure the ball, maybe over-pressure the ball, go ahead, drive. But you know what? What they haven't done is they haven't taken bad shots. If they're not getting fouled or they don't have a layup, they've also found the pass, kick out to the three. And it's really the reason, in my opinion, why Turkey is up right now. They're staying aggressive. You always talk about the player or whoever's more aggressive wins, defensively or offensively. France are trying to play aggressive defense, but Turkey says, you know what, we're going to play just as aggressive offense, and it's working out for them.
And 10 of the 12 players have been on the court for Turkey so far. So they're sharing the minutes, and as you said, the reserves, the team coming off the bench has not disappointed.
No, has not at all, and I was a little worried about their bench, but the style of play, the scoring does not go down, and that is great news if you're Coach Ekram.
Hey, scan in the barcode to get courtside 1891 into your smartphone. Get it for video stream scheduled scores. That's the app you need to watch international basketball. Download it from the Apple Store or Google Play. Probably a good test for France as well. Anybody that thought they were going to come out and roll over this Turkey team, well, they've provided the early answer. The Turkish players, they've been tough. Torre, meanwhile, gets into the paint. She's aggressive, and she earns a trip to the free throw line.
Yeah, good job there, getting to the paint, going up. It's pretty good defense. I'm not sure.
Erdogan gets the foul.
How, what more could she have done? Maybe that reaching route there, you saw it,
She kind of grabbed her once and then put her arm around her.
Did a good job having her hands up on the shot.
I mean, it's a good job from Mina Torre. Be aggressive.
Yeah, because I do think France, obviously they're a good shooting team. We saw that in the first half. We've seen that in the last numerous EuroBaskets, but maybe relied a little bit too much on outside shooting.
Second free throw is good. Great hands from Astier this time. Uzun allows the basketball to go into the backcourt before she picks it up. Shot clock down to 5. They got to go quickly. Fittek for 3. Count it! Oh my. we have got ourselves a game. And Piraeus, the Turkish women raising eyebrows with their play. Great play by Byram to get the steal. Erdogan goes in with the left hand. Great defense offered by Foposi, and now it's going back to France. Seen a couple of blocks from Le Bleu. This was Fittig knocking down the three right at the end of the shot clock.
Yeah, I don't mind that last take by Fittig either. Yeah, it didn't go in, but the referees have been calling fouls. France have been fouling on the drive as well, so why not stay aggressive early?
Lacan to Astier, who drives in, and great job, Astier, once again a little bit slow to rotate, and the foul on Istanbuloglu, the college player from Louisville Cardinals, got there a little bit too late. There she is. She's saying, hey,
I think she was inside the charge circle, but
possibly, yeah. But we've seen first Mignottore, and now we've seen Astier just play very direct. Getting to the basket. So she goes back out of the game. Istanbuloglu. McCowan back in. And Memnun doing a good job of keeping McCowan fresh.
Well, you mentioned it. Can she play 40 minutes? Probably not at this high tempo. So keep her as fresh as you can. Oh, wow.
Goodness me. That is just like a giant catching the basketball and putting it up and in. Just throw it near the rim and let her get it.
What I like, though, is they haven't really relied on her. I know she has 9 points. She's doing great. She's 4 of 4. But they're not trying to force it in. You know, they're waiting until she's open.
Jowdy Tabdi with the blocking foul. Yeah, they've got good balance, the Turkish team.
Yeah, they really do. Where I thought, you know what I like was the first possession of the game, they went inside, she scored 2 points. And then, you know, let the game come to her. She doesn't have to touch it every time down, but she takes the defense, the help side defense, and you know what? When she's fresh, get her the ball. Let her take her time to post up.
And that is a thankless task trying to guard her. It's like players just bouncing off of her, going down to the hardwood. Here she is again, catches it, puts it up, and this time, great job, Rupert, affecting the shot. Lacan dribbles in. Whistle blows. She wanted it to go for the three-point play, but instead she goes to the line for 2. And the difference that we're seeing in France in the second quarter is clearly go to the basket.
Go to the basket. You know, that's something that obviously the assistant coaches are paying attention to, and I'm sure that they told head coach Jean-Aimé Tupin, you know, during the quarter break, saying, listen, hey, they've gone to the free throw line 12 times, us only 3 times, so either we're not being aggressive enough, but the referees are going to call the fouls because they're calling them on one end, they'll call them on the other.
Not making all the free throws, and she does make the second. Good minutes from Erdogan. She goes out, Şakir back in the game with Byram in the backcourt and Uzun. So a lot of mobility in this Turkish team with Fittig also in the left corner. And then you've got McCowan, has to be careful not to move on that screen. Uzun misses, but there's McCowan with the follow. She's in double digits.
Oh, I mentioned it, 24 points a game in the qualification for this EuroBasket. She averaged 14 points at the last EuroBasket.
Bernice misses. Uzun. No, I like the poise and the control that this Turkish team is playing with. McCowan goes down and is fouled. They look composed.
Yeah, they do, and you know, they're just kind of a simple horn set, and they switch, so Ayayi had to take the rolling McCowan, but I like the patience. It was like, you know what, let McCowan roll, post up. What else can Ayayi do other than foul?
Confidence growing with the Turkish team. France facing a real battle here. Call timeout. Let's go down to the huddle.
Let's make some noise. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Les filles, on a un souci. Les filles, on a un souci sur le pic avec la. Vous, restez un petit peu plus bas. Ok? Restez un petit peu là. Voilà, pour contrôler derrière. Par contre, les extérieurs, vous ne pouvez pas ne pas être au contact. Et tout ce qu'on sait faire, vous ne le faites pas. Donc, si vous voulez pas qu'ils prennent de la vitesse, il faut être au contact et les chasser. On sait faire ça. Ok? Et après, derrière, les petits, quand les ballons reviennent et la chair, il faut attaquer celle qui a la balle.
Allez, bleu, blanc, rouge.
Obviously, it's still very early. A lot can happen. And you look at McCowan. I mean, she could not be more dominant right now. 11 points, 3 rebounds. But just one dimension of this attack is not the only dimension.
Yeah, you said it. You know, okay, we knew McCowan had to have a big game, but they also have 6 other players, 5, 6 other players who have scored for them.
Oh, boy, this time a push and a foul. Looks like McCowan might have got Rupert in the eye inadvertently. Here she is. Watch this again. Oh, yeah, boy, did she ever. She got her with the left elbow. You know that didn't feel good. Torre drives in. Oh, boy, just took what the defense gave her. Time and time again, France driving to the basket. That is their modus operandi right now. Uzun. Byram. Chucker spins. Great play by Romy Bernice. Takes it right away. Hands it off. And Lacombe misses. Ball goes out of bounds. Back over to Türkiye. And I was just wondering what had happened to Salon after a great start. And she's going to come back into the game.
I mean, just, you know, France, we know France can go 10, 12 players deep. And, you know, I questioned if Turkey could do the same, but they absolutely could. They proved it in the first quarter, and both coaches going to players earlier here in the second quarter.
Good job. Byram able to get the basketball and was able to, well, McGowan had it. France, their defense collapsing down low. Cindric coming back into the game. Yeah, I tend to think that maybe, well, certainly I did, maybe undervalued Türkiye coming into this tournament a little bit. They look a little more polished, a lot more experienced than I anticipated.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, you know, I think Turkey has a very good women's basketball league. They have a lot of teams who compete in EuroLeague women, who compete in Eurocup women.
Almost a layup off that. And look at that. Chucker gets fouled, puts it up and in. And her veteran leadership is really coming to the fore.
Captain, my captain right there.
Look at that. Bernice did a great job recovering, but then just because of the reach
at the end, yeah.
Whether she got her or not, oftentimes you see the reach just leads to the foul. I dare say she's done that to some other players.
Sure
inbounding
she has,
it.
absolutely.
What a start for Türkiye. Berenice. Now Salon. Senurek. And this time misses everything.
Yeah, I thought that was great defense, though, by Senurek on Salon, knowing she wants to go to her jump shot.
Great recovery by Rupert, knocking it away. And Pui. Berenice, beautiful pass. And another missed layup, but Rupert follows up her own miss and scores.
I mentioned it before the game, and I mentioned it after. If there's any time for you to knock off one of the top teams in the world, it is on game day one. And I love the way and the intensity from both these teams. This is how important this game is.
There is definitely foul on the play. There's definitely a toughness that we haven't seen in the Turkish women's team in some time on display right now.
Yeah, I agree. You know, this kind of reminds me of that team that they had sort of back in 2014, 2012, you know, that generation. Yilmaz, Ishel Albin.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about that the other day. Turkey's been missing a little something, but whatever it was, they seem to have got it back early in this game.
Like our two. Boom. Pass to Alper'i. Iverson. But go to corner. Go to corner. Tibe. You are here. T here. Tamam mı? Alper here. Tibe, take a step. Turn behind her. Alper'i drive. We have a shooter here. T, you roll with her. No screen, nothing.
Haydi! Haydi bir kez Türkiye!
Salon started fast, but she's missed her last 3 shots. She's got 9 points. But when she's making them, this was the first make, the hand in the face. Atash still able to score then on the break. Astier then found her again on the break. And the only question I have, Shona, is it seemed like she sat down for quite a while after that brilliant start.
You know, that's an advantage as well, though. Don't forget, Jeff, I mean, we have 3 games in group play. You have the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the finals, anticipating you go that far.
Great defense, meanwhile, by Rupert. Blocking that shot, certainly deflecting it. McCowan taps it in. So the bucket will go to Rupert, but that was definitely off the hands of McCowan. And France, once again, trail by just 1. Great take, Onar.
Again, that over-aggressive defense sometimes by France, and what a response from Onar there. Go ahead, attack the basket if they try and steal 8 meters away from it.
Salon takes the jumper, goes down. There is Rupert with the follow. She misses, she gets it back. Rupert starting to establish herself down low from a rebounding standpoint. Valu Ayayi, the drop. And the EuroLeague Women champion from Prague scores. Ties it up. Here's Onar. Let's see if she goes again. She does drive. Onar with the sonar. This time she misses. Yayi doesn't settle. Terrific job getting the shot up. And now that experience starting to show from Ayayi.
Yeah, lets the game come to her, starting to take over here in this second quarter. And you know, the thing is, Senurek, it's a tough matchup for her because she has to get out and defend Ayayi at the 3-point line. But Ayayi has a quick, long first step as well. And you know, she saw Senurek a little off balance on that last closeout, but possession before she just made a 3, so you have to go. So I do think this is a difficult matchup for Senurek when, you know, Ayayi playing the 4 for France, where she's really She's a 3-4, not really a 4-3.
Yeah.
And
Very mobile.
it's difficult to defend, absolutely.
She could probably even bring the basketball up the court if she had to.
You know what? I'm pretty sure if you asked Ayayi, she would say she could play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say, she plays every position on the court if needed. She's got the length, and she's got the skill. Türkiye down by a point. Nice drive, continuing to stick to their strengths, but unable to make the layup. And now Bernice on the counter. Kui takes the jumper from the baseline. And France coming up now with a lot of offensive rebounds.
And you start to see a little bit of fatigue, I think, coming from the Turkish players.
McCowan with the rebound. Here's McCowan, not interested. Good job, hands it off. Chucker, Uzun open, that's big. They needed a bucket, and it's a go-ahead 3.
Yeah, but France, they had to collapse there defensively because McCowan set that screen. She rolled hard to the basket. Boom, you collapse the defense, and a nice find from the captain to her shooter.
Chucker's been exceptional. She really has.
Yeah.
Ojai Chucker. Rupert, meanwhile, misses and goes so hard off the backboard, bounces out. Ayayi for 3. Oh, that was a good-looking shot, but it was short.
She had to shoot it because the shot clock was actually not reset. Well, it didn't hit the rim. That's why it wasn't reset.
And it's interesting. Yeah, I think your point well taken. This Turkish team starting to look a little tired. Oh! Boy, Chucker looked like she might have thrown an elbow there. Here she's got it. She jacks it up. McCowan, good box out by Rupert. Oh, no, they're going to call a foul. Looked like it could have gone either way, that.
And again, shot clock winding down there, and the captain, Chucker, had to put the shot up. But put the shot up, even if it's maybe not the best shot, because you have such an advantage with McCowan underneath the basket on the offensive rebounds.
Timeout.
Well, we got another timeout. Chucker with 9 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds.
With a big round of applause, let's make some noise.
Great start to the FIBA Women's EuroBasket here in Piraeus.
Et puis regardez là, on va jouer sur des situations hors, ok? Tu te pars du côté de Valou, là tu décales, tu plonges, on peut pas, tu donnes ici, tu enchaînes main à main, on revient ici, tu traverses et on fait un pic avec le propre de Ili, ok, sur or, ok? Allez.
Well, you saw, sorry, Jeff, I was just saying we saw those shooting percentages.
Look at Chucker.
I know, that she's taking over.
She's evolved as a player, but kind of later in her career, hasn't she?
You know, I think a lot was kind of put on her
Early.
because she was kind of, you know, she was the point guard going to take over for Ishel
Darley.
Albin, for Darley. And those are big shoes to fill. And, you know, I do think her leaving Turkey, going to Salamanca 2 years ago, playing in the Spanish League, playing for the FIBA EuroLeague with Avenida, Perfumerias Avenida in Salamanca.
One of the great clubs of women's basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
And growing.
And then she came back to Turkey this year, played at Fenerbahce, played more minutes than she did previously. And look at her game. Look at the progression, even from 2023 EuroBasket to now.
Absolutely terrific first half for so many of these Turkish players. We see the talent with France as well. This is a great game on opening day here in Piraeus. Bernice, Salon, that's all. And McCowan, quick outlet, Onar. Onar skip pass to Uzun. And Salon almost getting the turnover. Shot clock winding down. Shaker. Senurek for three. Got it! That's what she does.
That's what she does, and you kind of saw her say, well, finally, as well. And she's a three-point shooter. You got to get out on her. She has a quick, high release. If you're not there on the catch, good chance you're not going to block it or stop it.
Nice job, Rupert, keeping it, driving, but just missing. But there's Salon. Oh, and a foul called on Salon. And Rupert, yeah, we're seeing with France, so many times they're making just great moves to the basket, but just not finishing. And look at Senurek, meanwhile. This is her bread and butter.
It really is. And, you know, you don't want to rely too much on McCowan, and that is exactly what this Turkish team has done. Everyone has participated in this first half, and right now they have the possession. They're up already 6. They could go in, you know, 10 points up if they get a quick stop and another shot on the other end.
Shaker, beautiful free throw. Stretches it to 7, and the wake-up call has been delivered to France here on opening day. And she makes both free throws. It is their biggest lead of the game, 8 points with 18.5 seconds left in the first half. And against a team that, yeah, you got 6 Olympians, but you've also got a lot of other new players having to step up. Romy Bernice. Here's the Yayi, and Yayi misses. Great rebound, Byram, and that is it. And once again, France with a good drive to the basket, but just not making the shot. And a composed Turkish team with plenty of poise now has some confidence, and they go to halftime leading 44-36 over France.
Oh, there you see the statistics, 44 points, shooting 50% from 3. They've got to the free throw line, haven't really converted, but it has put pressure on France, even though maybe they're not making as many free throws as they want. Rebounds, assists, turnovers, more or less equal. And what a performance from McCowan. We knew she was going to come out, but what I love to see is Shakar, 11 points, Uzun, 6 points. Everyone who has played has done something significant for Turkey, either on the offensive end, defensive end, or both ends. And this is the best Turkish basketball I have seen in a long time. We talked about the key players. They have put in absolutely what they should be doing, 8 points, 6 points respectively. You expected that from those two players. I'm talking about everyone else for these two teams. And, you know, I questioned this Turkish team before the tournament started, and some of that was, you know, leading up to it 2 years ago, what they did at 2023 EuroBasket, and they have silenced me, and this team is scary.
Showing us all a few players giving you the hush sign from the Turkish bench as this unfolded here. McCowan, though, they've been able to use her size advantage, but, you know, she's got good hands. And this is a Turkish team that's together. And now, you know, this is now a huge opportunity. You know, we got 20 minutes to go. This is a huge opportunity for Turkey to get a win. This could set them up on a roll if they could get a win against France.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a medal. If they can play like this for another 20 minutes and then their next 2 group games, this is a team that could be on the podium at the end of the tournament, 100%. Can they keep it up? We'll find out.
Well, plenty of experience with France. You don't want to count them out, and nobody will be, but Onar with the sonar and knowing the drive, you know, I just feel like this experience that we have from these Fenerbahce guards has maybe been the difference.
you know what? It's starting to show. They have been around a lot longer than some of these French guards go as far as experience. Maybe not necessarily at the same level, but they've been at EuroBaskets before, and it's paying off.
Education, health, justice. We sometimes take these simple things for granted. They're not common for all of us. We are all born on the same planet, but not with the same opportunities.
Whatever our gender, color, belief, or capability, we are one. We are all on the same team. Let's convince those who never thought they would do it that they can. We can. Together, we are stronger. No matter your origin, basketball can bring everyone together. Basketball for good.
Bad little seam, he stops. Sit down. That's a beautiful handle. Almost inconceivable the way things were going. That's him on for three. Oh! Belgium stunningly have taken the lead. Anderson saves in a bounce to Van Loo, 3-on-1 break. Oh, look at that. Look at the touch pass from Alamon. Oh, my goodness. Oh, nice move. Oh, because they didn't play the World Cup. What am I talking about? Nice move by Leonor Rodriguez. She was in the 2018 World Cup. Try to inbound it, they get it to Dubé! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! They have taken advantage!
Star getting some opportunity and minutes.
Serbia. Go up by 4.
Lalique has it. Goes to the ring. Oh, what a block! Oh! What a block by McGowan! And she gets the love of her teammates on that play.
That's great hands, quick hands by Manunga. Out in transition behind the back by Van Loo. Rezemon can do everything here in Tel Aviv.
I want to see that on replay because this was razzle dazzle here. Look, Fates goes behind the back.
Oh, that's how gay basket.
Well, Oblak there.
In the air.
And they do get it to FIBA. She ties the game! Now, they can review this to see if she got it off in time. This will be close. That is unbelievable.
These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
44-36, Turkey on top of France at halftime in this opening game of the FIBA Women's EuroBasket Group A in Paris, and Janelle Salon came out shooting it like a house on fire, 9 points, all of that coming in the first quarter.
Yeah, you know, she did go to the bench for quite a while, and you wondered, did she sort of, get out of her rhythm? But I mean, the advantage is that you can put her on the bench, and we talked about it a little bit. This is a long tournament. You want people to be fresh come June 29th in that gold medal game. So I understand using your bench, but you know what? You're down 8 points right now at halftime to Turkey. And well, maybe you got to go out and get the win, but Turkey, I would love to see them be able to play with the same intensity for the next 20 minutes. And they could make things incredibly interesting in this group, heading, into the second stages of this tournament. And great job by Tiara McCowan. And what I like was she wasn't forcing stuff. She was letting the ball come to her. She was taking her time posting up. She was doing a good job setting screens, rolling. Help side was late a few times, and it was an easy basket. You're going to front. You need to have a guarantee that your help side is behind you. And France, I would say more than a few times, weren't there, and McCowan got some easy buckets. And can they do it? Can they keep up this intensity for another 20 minutes is my question, though, coming from Turkey.
So McCowan with the 12 points, 5 of 9. You can see where she's done the damage right under the basket. But again, it's not just been about her. It's been a masterful first half game plan. Great play by the guards. They've been able to knock down threes. They've been able to drive. And she looks like a pretty darn good addition to this Turkish team, judging from that performance.
She really does. She was their top scorer at the last EuroBasket, but her attitude, her energy just looks a little bit different than that last tournament we saw her in.
44-36, Turkey on top of France. Salon with the 9 points. Lacan has the 3 assists. Yayi has the 5 rebounds. And you know what? It's a 40-minute game, and adjustments are made. And Shona, who's been coaching, one of the best teams in France for the past several years at Lens as an assistant coach, that adjustments are made. So what adjustments will Jean-Ahmed Toupin be making at halftime?
France's bread and butter, I think, has been their defense over the last couple of years. And to give up 44 points it's a lot. It's a lot of points. You're looking at almost a 90-point game for your opponent. I think the biggest adjustment they need to do is they need to have that guaranteed help side, or they need to go and trap as soon as the ball goes into McCowan and make her kick it out. That being said, are they over-pressuring a little bit too much? And the Turkish guards doing a great job sweeping the ball, getting to the heart of that defense, getting to the key, making the right decision once they get there. So maybe they need a little bit more, I want to say, smart pressure. Go ahead, put ball pressure, but as soon as that Turkish guard lowers the ball, you have to jump off and give them a little space, because they do have the quickness to beat you. If I'm Turkey, keep doing what you're doing. I'm not sure I would change a whole lot. They gave up a lot of offensive rebounds that second quarter. That could be an emphasis. Hey, everyone needs to box out defensively. Go get the rebound as well. We can't just rely on McCowan and our inside players. But other than that, play with confidence. They have nothing to lose. And they have an opportunity right now. There's 20 minutes left and they're up 8.
Let's don't forget, I think France, more so than Turkey, have missed quite a few makeable shots right at the basket. So they've been kind of their own worst enemy in that respect. But that being said, it's not like they were completely uncontested shots. But I think there are shots that they would have expected to make. And the big thing for Turkey is going to be maintaining that intensity. Crucial will be the opening phase of this second half, as it always is especially for a team trying to spring the upset.
Yeah. Sorry, you know, you mentioned how are France, you didn't say it, are they settling too much for outside shots? Like if you look at the comparison, you know, Turkey have shot a lot more from inside the paint compared to their three-point shots. France, yeah, they've shot more from two-point, but they've shot 15 shots from three, and they've only made, I think it's 3 of them. They're scoring more when they get the ball inside and can get to the basket, those kind of situations.
Yeah.
Maybe that's kind of the mentality they need to have starting this third quarter.
But I'm even thinking that they've missed some shots driving to the basket. Where
you are right. They've missed a lot of little layups, little shots. But you know what? You have McCowan, who doesn't really go out and defend around the three-point line. She's there hanging out in the paint. There's been a few times in that first half where, you know, Coach Ekram put them in a little bit of a full court zone back into a 2-3 kind of matchup man zone, and has had McCowan just in the key. And I think it's frustrated, you know, or maybe taking the rhythm out of France's offense a little bit.
Well, let's don't forget, you've got Olympians, silver medalists in this France team, and several players that can impact the game in a very positive way for France. So listen, download the app to get the FIBA Women's EuroBasket in your smartphone, scan in the barcode, download it on the App Store, get it on Google Play. Okay, second half action is underway between Turkey and France. Now Turkey wearing the white and attacking the basket to the left on your screen, leading by 8 points. Shocker drives in, good defense, Minya Toure. Getting the hands up and now quickly breaking France, and great hustle back by Onar. Salon picks it up though and rattles it in.
That was a great hustle back defensively, and honestly, that was a tough contested shot that Salon made, but she comes out, scores 9 points in the first quarter. Here in the third quarter, it's going to be a very good sign if you're a French basketball fan.
France defense trying to stick to the opponents like glue, and can you believe Salon with the foul right at the end of the shot clock? Atash is going to the line.
Again, maybe a little bit too aggressive defensively, like I've talked about. And, you know, they're putting ball pressure because they want to take away that easy pass to the post, McCowan. And there's Salon. I think it was a good heads-up play by Atash, realizing she was a little bit too early. I can kind of get my shot underneath her defensive hand, and she's going to the line for 3 free throws. And they already went 17 times in the first.
Well, Salon with 3 fouls. Ordinarily, well, maybe in this team that's not as crucial, but Atash misses the second, so it's not going to be as ruinous or as impactful as it might have been. Sinem Atash takes the third and misses all 3, so that's not a good development.
No, that's a tough break for Turkey, and you know, you hate for them. They're 11 of 20 right now from the free throw line. You'd hate for them to look back on this game and maybe look at free throw shooting percentage and that have been a decider.
Look at Ayayi twisting, turning, getting in. Now McGowan wrestling, and a great job by Rupert taking the ball away.
Shot clock though.
And they don't get it off. Good defense. Just a little, perhaps too patient by France.
Substitution for France, number 1, Nîmes Rochon.
Salon with the 3 fouls goes out. Beauchamp comes back into the game. She's a 3-point threat, as we saw right after stepping onto the court. She knocked down a couple to turn a 17-14 deficit into a 20-17 lead for France. Ooh, McGowan turns, There's a lot of body, no whistle, and the ball goes out of bounds. Well, Rupert in position. Just because there's contact doesn't mean there's a foul. Now Lacan. And boy, game getting a little physical here early in this second half. And this is on McCowan. No, it's on Yayi, and between Shakur and Yayi, Shakur with the foul.
Two captains going at each other, and you know how many times have those two players played against each other in their careers as well.
Here's a Yayi missing the three, but it's Rupert with the rebound. Torre for three. Front and back of the rim stays out. A Yayi with the offensive rebound, and she's going to the line. The offensive glass is becoming a factor for the French. So Yayi has a basketball playing family. Both brothers play professionally. I think they talk about basketball when they get together for the holidays. Some people are like that. 4 points now separate these two teams. France with the better start to the second half. Onar. Probing, back outside, touch pass, Senurek. She's got to get it up. She puts up a prayer and just clangs off the backboard. France knew ball was going back out, and the French defense and the French rebounding. And at some point, you'd think Uzun is going to come back into the game.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, it's all about defense and paying a little bit more attention to the boards for Türkiye. Mina Torre gets to the baseline, puts up a layup and misses. She had the shot, and that's another one of those opportunities.
You mentioned it at halftime. You know, you felt like France missed a lot of opportunities around the basket.
And look at that, Shakur just punishes her, so that's a 4-point swing.
But what do? It's, you know, it's a screen on the side and kind of a semi-transition. You can't switch because it's McCowan setting it and doing a good job rolling to the basket.
So they stem the flow just a little bit. Here's Lacan from the line. Nice, silky, smooth shot, Lacan. Won the French title with EuroBasket Lens team this past season. And the pass intended, she was held by Rupert.
Yeah,
and Rupert taking some punishment.
Yeah, she is, but you know what? I mean, what more can you do? Rupert obviously gives up quite a few centimeters, inches. And, you know, just a great job by Olcay Shakur. I think this is one of the best games I have ever seen her play in a Turkish uniform.
Yeah, truly. Shakur Turgut. He's married now. Uzun back in the game for Türkiye as well. Onar gets it inbounds to Senurek. Onar probing. Uzun's got to go. She's going to get it up. She doesn't get it up in time. Great defense by Le Bleu. Astier also in the game right now for France. What's going on in the mind of Memnum? Great defense in the backcourt by Olcay Shakur.
Well, you know, we saw at the beginning of the game in the first quarter how how many times did Turkey get their hands on the ball or force a turnover
in that first quarter?
Really picking up full court though. And you know, I think this is exactly what they need to do. They need to come out and have that same kind of intensity defensively. Even if you don't come up with a steal, you're still slowing down France.
They're going to challenge this. They were going to award the basketball to France, and Turkey are going to challenge because Shakur Turgut said this is going to be our basketball coach. And you can see the referees were looking at each other for help. So I'm not, you know, if they don't know and they initially award it to France, let's listen in.
This is a wide head coach challenge. We are going to review which team caused the ball going out of bounds. So blue, 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 blue. No more touch, wait. Yes, clear evidence, the last one was blue, so should be white ball with new 14 seconds.
Yeah,
agree?
clear and visible, yeah.
So call is reverse, white ball, 14 seconds from court in the point of delivery. Thank you.
That was one of the quickest reviews I think I have ever experienced.
You call it?
Well, that, you know, that's a benefit of the game now. Each team can have one challenge. Each coach has one challenge. And the majority of those are on out-of-bounds calls. And you never like to have to use it because you're like, you know, if you're a player, you're like, you should have got that right. But the reality is that's why you have the challenge. So you can.
I like that addition to the game, the FIBA game, the coach's challenge.
Well, you got the technology. Why not use it? Here's Uzun. Ooh. Picks up the dribble. And once again, France just locking down on defense.
But then you say, you know, was that a waste of a challenge? Because maybe he may have an opportunity to use one and not able to get the advantage there on that last offensive possession.
Well, Shakur Turgut right now with her defense. Look at that. Making all the difference in the world, but it's the French team defense which is really kind of taking over the game here. Shot clock violation after shot clock violation for Turkey.
Well, you know, we can talk about the France defense, but yeah, France scored a few baskets early in the quarter. Other than that, it's been a low-scoring quarter. Turkey also doing the job defensively.
There's another example, Astier with the great drive, but misses it quite badly, actually. Onar passes it back out. They're going to get a good look here. Shakur off the front of the iron. Lacan. Points have dried up for Turkey here in the third quarter. France not scoring a bunch themselves, to be honest.
No.
High scoring first half, now a defensive struggle. Lacan puts it up for three. Oh, and it almost banked in. And now the turnover, McGowan trying to get the outlet pass to Uz and led her just a little too much.
And ball position for France.
Great response by her teammates to come up and give her a hug, say don't worry about it. Shakur, looks like she might have come up a little gimpy there with the reach. Trying to guard Badian. Shot clock about to expire. Lacan has to get it up. She drives in.
So talk about the French defense. Right now, both these teams, their concentration has been defense in this third quarter.
Lacan with the reach. It's only the third team foul for France. And Memnum, I think, needs to spell Shakur Turgut. This is a good chance to get her a break because she's clearly a mixture of tired and also looked like she took a knock there. She deserves it. A few minutes on the bench.
Yeah, her intensity defensively has set the tone for her Turkish team.
Fitik comes into the game. I mean, they've still got a good backcourt. That's the strength of this Turkish team.
Yeah, and you know, this is also Uzun's moment to sort of take over offensively and be the kind of leader.
Oh, over the shoulder pass, look at that. McCowan not there, but there's the offensive rebound. Byron misses, McCowan gets it back, and they score. A couple of offensive rebounds. 14 points, 10 rebounds from McCowan. How do you do? FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2025. Double-double, and we still got 14 minutes to go. Repair drives in, has him knocked away. Great hands by Byram. And Lewison pulls it back out. Skip pass. Three-pointer for Onar. Got it! And just like that, Turkey has stretched their lead back to 9 points. Their biggest lead of the game.
And you know, there you see it. Onar Fittik checking into the game, giving their starters a little bit of a break, and good things happening. There's no drop in intensity offensively, defensively, and Turkey taking advantage of really putting pressure on France.
Faites-moi des systèmes en côté, en bas, des play courts. OK, et bougez le ballon. Et le haut, tu peux le faire avec Valou. Là, à 5 plans, tu sors là, tu restes large. Et s'il n'y a rien pour jouer, tu fais un main à main, tu reviens et tu traverses. On va trouver la petite ouverture. Hey, tu peux pas faire de passe. OK? Et après, quand vous avez McCowan dedans, il faut arrêter de la regarder, mettez votre corps sur elle à 5.
I mean, you saw the statistics during that timeout. 3 of 18 from three-point range. Clearly, it's not their day, which is fine, you know what I mean? I think they're all good three-point shooters. We know they are. History has proven they are, that everyone can shoot threes. But how can you score if your three-pointers aren't going in? And we saw it in the second quarter. I thought they did a better job trying to get to the basket, drew some fouls, and, well, they're making life a little bit difficult for themselves, I think, the French team.
14 points, 10 rebounds for McCowan. You know, what must Greece be thinking right now? They might be thinking, wow, this Turkish team's a little bit bigger and better than we thought. It's going to be a real battle to get out of this group. Greece plays Switzerland in the next game. There's a Yayi, goes in, puts it up, and just maintains her control after the contact with Fittik. Terrific shot. Back to a 7-point deficit for the French. Now they got to defend. Onar gets it to McCowan. She's surrounded and throws it away into the hands of Astier. Salon, her pass almost intercepted by Onar. Looked like it might have, I thought it went off of potentially Berenice. There's Greece watching. Coming up next. That's right, the camera's on you, ladies. Say hello. Fittik, little mismatch down low with Salon. Couldn't get Salon the basketball. Here she is. Debadian drives in. Another missed opportunity.
Yeah, another missed layup, little basket. And I think, you know, McCowan not really coming up with blocks, but she's adjusting those shots inside the paint and the takes by France as well.
Oh, great reach, almost a steal, and another turnover. The French defense keeping them in the game right now. 3-on-1, nice no-look pass from Ayayi. Yayi doing a little bit of everything. Look at that, 8.6 rebounds. That's her first assist, and now an offensive foul gives it back to the French.
Number 11.
Look at that, on a platter. Room service dime for Salon. 5 points, the difference. Astier goes right past Shakir Turgut, who's come back into the game, but misses with another drive.
Another big miss. You know, we saw that, and again, McCowan doesn't get the block, but I can guarantee you she adjusted that shot of Astier around the basket.
They've had easily 10 misses driving to the basket. Shakir Turgut, high arcing jumper. Bernice quickly the other way for France. And Turkey with the foul, that's team foul number 4. Beauchamp looks on.
It's also the 3rd foul of Shakir Turgut, number 4, their captain, who's had a great game for them. You know, I know we have another quarter to play. He's gonna keep her in. You'd hate to see her come up with a 4th foul heading into the 4th quarter.
Coach Thorburn talking. Badian from deep, and Uzun with the rebound.
Again, I know that Badian can shoot threes. It's not a question, but get something around the basket. I thought Salon right there had the ball inside the post. Uzun is defending you. You have an advantage. Go up.
Shakir Turgut gets in, and that's why she stays in the game. She's got an and 1. Look at this. And Bernice needs to keep her in front of her.
Yeah.
She goes right past. She just knows when she has to drive. Exceptional performance from Olcay Şakır today.
She is the most experienced player on this team. She's 31 years old. She's played in many a EuroBasket. She is probably one of the most capped players on this current EuroBasket team for Turkey. And right now her experience is showing.
France will be very relieved that Turkey has shot very poorly from the line, because that's helped them stay close. Gowan with the foul. So that's the 2nd foul on McCowan. So Salon goes to the free throw line and rattles it in.
First shot, good. Two-point play by Salon.
I think both these teams, serious potential to get to the podium. We already knew France. And Bernice with the foul. But again, look at those free throws. Those free throws have not been dropping for Turkey.
Again, Romy, what are you doing? You just got to foul the last possession defensively because you were a little bit too aggressive on the closeout. And then right there, you try to go for a steal, and you put one of the best free throw shooters to the free throw line for this Turkish team. You just, you know, these are the kind of tournaments, and you have to play smart if you want to win at this level.
And again, she just makes 1 of 2. It's a 6-point lead. French not punished completely for the fouls. Remember, they missed 3 free throws.
Yeah.
After being fouled from behind the arc, Turkey. And Badian again missing, not looking quite as polished from the floor as she did early on. Fitik hands it off. Şakır. Turgut calls the play. And I just like this control that they're showing today. And a lot of it is because this player right here. Fitik for 3, that's off to the left. Look at the rebound. The battle, it's going to be McCowan that comes down with it. Great work, Byron, but then she has it taken away by Salon, but then it goes out of bounds. She doesn't control it with 5.3 seconds left.
Substitution for Türkiye, number 17,
Erdogan was going to come in, but now Onar is going to come back into the game. No, wait, what does Ekremimnum want to do? So he's going to bring Erdogan.
I think Erdogan, though, she was actually waiting to check in, and then coach said, actually, no, I want to put Onar in, but she was already there at the scores table.
So Shaka Turkey goes out with the foul issues.
Smart.
Erdogan's gonna get it in. They got time. They jack it up for three. And Salon has it. They got to look. Got to know the situation. And, well, France win the quarter, but they still trail here against Turkey at the end of three. Turkey on top, 54-48.
And there are the statistics. Both teams, not shooting as well as they did in the first half, but still a good shooting percentage. But again, 15% for France from three-point range, and they have 20 three-point attempts. I don't think it's their night. Yeah, if you are a good three-point shooter, absolutely go ahead and shoot it. But if you're maybe an average three-point shooter, you got to figure out other ways if you're this French team to score. But that being said, and you mentioned it in the first half and in the third quarter, you know what? They're missing a lot of easy takes as well. And I think what we're not noticing is the defense of Turkey. And McCowan sort of being in that help side position when the French players do drive. She's affecting how they go up and try and score. She's not coming up with block shots because she's not, overly aggressive trying to block the ball. She doesn't need to. She just needs to adjust it and take away the easy look. And it's exactly what she's doing.
Well, that was definitely the lowest scoring quarter of the game, 12-10, won by France. The lowest scoring quarter definitely for Turkey. Although, a lot of that is because they didn't make free throws. And from a free throw standpoint, it has been a horror show for the Turkish team. 12 of 23. Scan the barcode to get courtside 1891 in your smartphone. This becomes, for me, Shona, a game Turkey have to win if they have any aspirations of going on in this tournament. And the reason why I say it would be such an emotional letdown is Switzerland look on. Great moment for the Swiss team to make it to the EuroBasket. They want to make the most of it. It would be so deflating if they don't win it.
So deflating, or do you say we almost beat France, and how about that first action out of the third quarter to start the fourth quarter? Exactly what they need. They need to get to the basket. Why not? You give Touré a wide open layup, and you take the big McCowan out of the key. Are you deflated saying, you know what, we had an opportunity, we were up for 30 minutes, 35 minutes, who knows if you do end up losing this game? Or do you say, we pushed France to the brink and almost came up with a win?
Well, great defense once again by France, but then they foul right at the end. I just think that they cannot afford to lose this game. They are this close to beating them, and it would be devastating if they don't hold on.
Well, we do know, we haven't mentioned it a lot, obviously, two teams come out of this Group A, two teams from all four groups at this EuroBasket that's happening all around Europe right now. Two teams are going out. We would have thought France will go on.
Look at this, the inbounds to Fiddick. Great play, Shaka Turgut. Fiddick comes in, makes herself available. Goes back to a 6-point lead.
Talk about bench contribution from this Turkish team. 7 points for Fiddick alone. Uzan has been big for them. Bayram not scoring, but doing it, crashing the offensive rebounds. She's the one who drew that defensive foul on the rebound.
Salon from the corner. Oh, and she gets the shooter's bounce. That is a huge shot. Well, that only happens to good shooters. 18 points for Janelle Halliburton Salon. You've seen Halliburton's high bouncing shot against the Knicks. There's a nice drive from McGowan. And suddenly, it seems like Turkey may have rediscovered their mojo on offense. Salon drives, tough shot, it doesn't drop. Free throws for Salon.
Like I was mentioning before, all the highlights that we've had in the first minute and a half of this quarter, So let's say they do lose. If you're Greece right now watching this game, obviously the coaches are here. They're scouting this game from Greece and Switzerland. That Turkey-Greece game on Saturday, the last group game. Woo.
There are going to be some people flying in from Istanbul after this.
All those Turkish people who live here
are
going to be trying to buy tickets to that game. Absolutely.
Oh boy, just the pass not on target this time, but then France tried to get back too quickly, throw it away. Fiddick gets it to McGowan once again, and this time it's short, but she follows. And she's fortunate, but I think definitely sandwiched.
Yeah. I don't know if you need a foul. I think it's going to go against Torre on this possession. You have 3 defenders. Stand straight up. If you are foul when she gets a rebound, not on the putback.
It was on Badian, in fact, her 3rd. Look at where she does her damage. You know, she is not spotting up shooting threes. You know what she's going to do, and it's just a matter of how many bodies you can get around her to try to affect her game. Hails from the great state of Texas, makes both. 60-55, Turkey. Remember, France turned it over on the previous possession. Here's Salon, catch, shoot, and shooters roll once again. She's got 20.
She had that big 9-point quarter in the first quarter, played less in the second. Right now, Jean-Aimé Tupin from France says, you know what, I got to go with people who are going to score.
Uzun drives in, and the veteran puts it up and in. Byram reaching around, fouling Rupert. Well, you know that teams will evolve over the course of the tournament, and I would anticipate France getting better. But it would also be a tough loss for them if they can't come back and win this game. But sometimes an early loss can be good for a team. And sharpen the focus. Toure missing off the back of the iron. Rupert with the rebound. And this time the foul is Shakir Turgut boxing out, and that means...
That is her 4th.
Big decision. She's going to come out. Onar is going to come in for her. Shakir Turgut is going to sit down for a little while.
I mean, don't forget Onar coming off the bench. She's had 10 points. Fiddick's already on the court right now. She's participated. She has 6, 7 points. They've done their job. They can come in and take out those starters.
Turkey trying to get a stop. Lacan puts it up and in and out, but another offensive rebound. Badian back to Lacan. Oh, and takes the bump and goes to the line.
So offensive rebound has been, you know, I think the key for France in this game. If we want to look at a key point, what they have done well and have given themselves opportunities, it's the second chance opportunities for France.
She's got the butterfly tattoo on the left forearm. Floats like a butterfly. The question is, does she sting like a bee? She makes the first free throw. Misses the second, and it's chasing it down in the corner. Onar, so back to a 4-point lead. Less than 7 minutes remaining in this thriller of a Group A game. Game day 1, opening day. And Piraeus, Fiddick, little rudder. Senrek, fortunate bounce, goes back out, a new 14. Uzun drives in, misses. Elif Byram not able to rebound it.
That would have been a big basket by Uzun. They got to get it over, and they don't.
They get the great defense by Turkey. Wow. Feels like the majority of the French turnovers have come trying to bring the basketball up the court.
Oh yeah, since the beginning of the game, every time Turkey puts full court pressure on, I don't want to say they cause a turnover, but they make it very difficult, and they have come up and forced turnovers when they do put smart pressure on.
And it's time to see the dash moves of the rebounders.
Hadi Sinir'e. Alpmen almayacak buradan. Gökçen sen tat, Sevgi soksun. Alpmen'in sıralı, Alpmen al. Sonra dinlendin de. Elif sen buradasın. Tamam mı? Sen boşalt. Gel. Yapıyormuş gibisin. Ama gel ha. Alper'i buradan deli gibi gidecek.
62-58, Turkey on top of France with 6.5 minutes remaining. This one of the successful plays that looked like it was potentially going to be a turnover, but you know, we've seen some good things from France. We've seen some misses. You know, both teams can play better. There's no doubt. Turkey are going to have to shoot better from the line. They're going to have to maybe do a little bit better job on the defensive glass, but they've shown considerable poise today. Salon, meanwhile, look at that. Other than that second quarter when she sat for a long time, she has been really the go-to. 22 points for France. 18 for McCowan and 16 for Ojai Shakir for Turkey. Onar gets it to Byram. Oh, beautiful turn, and then she misses the layup.
That's 4 points on the last 2 layup opportunities for Turkey. And you just wonder if they end up losing this game. Little missed shots in the fourth quarter and missed free throws.
Well, offensive rebound. McCowan taking a break right now, but surely she's going to come back into the game. Here's Rupert, fouled by Senurek.
Foul and 2 shots for France. They're fouled by Türkiye by number 15, Kilbe Senurek.
Yeah, that's just a foul every day of the week.
I thought it was good defense. You know, I thought like the initial part, trying to deny the ball, trying to deny the pass into Rupert. You know, she battled for a long time there on that defensive possession. But then, like you said, we also have the advantage of seeing a slow-mo replay.
Sure, exactly. And Rupert with a very quiet, almost double-double, really. And makes the free throw, so she's got the 10 points. She has missed a few shots around the basket, but she's got the quality. It's a 2-point game. Turkey trying to hold on as we get closer to winning time, the final 5 minutes. Uzun, Miniatore guarding her. Uzun drives, nice bounce pass to Effie Byron, and she's got to get it up. She does, rattles out.
I'm not sure McCowan's going to stay on the bench for much longer, as they need her presence offensively, also defensively here. Big possession for France. They could possibly tie it or take the lead.
Miniatore elects to drive, and it doesn't drop. Byram sneaks in there for the rebound. And we are in winning time, folks. Final 5 minutes. Look at that, 2.5 minutes. Turkey have not scored. Here's Onar, tough drive, and she does get it to go. Nice little English.
What a game Onar has had coming off the bench.
Dump down low, Rupert. Oh, she misses right where she wanted to be. And some long looks from the faces of some of the French fans here. And the drive, and another excellent work from Onar, this time getting to the free throw line.
And don't forget, Onar's the one who had to come in for the captain, Ojai Shakir Turgut, who 16 points, had to go out, picked up her 4th foul on that box out early in this 4th quarter. And good teams, their bench players step up when they're called on. And, you know, I think some of the best teams are the teams who can go 10, 12 players deep And this is what Turkey is doing, and they haven't done that a lot in the past, I think.
Well, the free throw line has been their kryptonite today, and Onar's missed her only 2 attempts, and she misses another one.
I mentioned it at halftime because they were only shooting around 60% at halftime from the free throw line. I said, imagine they lose this game and you look back and you could just say, well, if we had hit a few more free throws.
She misses another, but Byram sneaks in for the rebound. Huge play by Byram. But then she turns it over. She gives it to Salon, who races down the floor and lays it up and in to cut the deficit to 2. And Ekremimnum thought he wanted a timeout. Just a 2-point lead. It's not always a thing of beauty, but boy, is it close. And the hair on the back of the neck is standing up. Onar missing with the jump shot from the elbow. A chance to take the lead. I think he's got to go back to Shaka Turgut. And she is indeed going to come off the bench. Here is Lacone missing the layup. They have missed 15 layups.
But let's say open layups, at least 8.
Yeah.
Where you think they should score.
There's some pressure on that shot.
Yes, but
Uzun. And Byram goes for the rebound. McGowan goes for it, and Lacone comes down with it. And the basket Landstar gets it over to Mina Toure for 3. Off the back of the iron, McGowan comes in for the rebound with 3:15 remaining.
You know, I have to question that shot by Mina Toure. She's a good 3-point shooter. She can shoot. Catch, drive, see what happens.
Uzun gets free on the rebound. McGowan misses with the putback. Lacone in the open floor.
For me, you got to push the tempo, try attack before McGowan is there back on defense. But obviously, Rupert a little bit tired too because it took her a while to get into the front court for France.
Maybe they got to. Oh, it's going to be Toure, and she hits the go-ahead 3 for France.
I just said I questioned her 3-point shooting selection on that last one. Well, that one, at least the shot clock was winding down a little bit.
The points have dried up for Turkey. They've had some chances. McGowan fouled from behind by Ayayi. That is 4 team fouls on France. And Toure with the go-ahead 3. And maybe, not because it's McGowan, but just as a team, look at Hito Turkoglu, the Federation president, hands on head. They know they've got to do a better job. They've turned it over some, Turkey, and they have also not rebounded it particularly well. Well, no, they do have 45 rebounds, but they haven't shot the free throws well.
Oh, you saw Rupert checking out. Not sure she will stay out the rest of the game. She does have a double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds.
They have actually, Turkey have actually out-rebounded France, 45-42, but this is where they have shot themselves in the foot at the free throw line. Fiddick misses another one. And I think you feel
you would really hate for Turkey to lose.
Because of free throw shooting. But well, regardless, whatever happens, if they lose, it will be because of their free throw shooting.
Absolutely.
She does make 1 of 2. Well, still a lot of basketball to be played. Coming up on the 2-minute mark. Toure. Ayayi for 3. Good! The cream rises to the top. The veteran. 68-65. She's got 11. Do Turkey try to answer with a 3? They don't have to.
You don't want to foul if you're France and necessarily put Turkey to the free throw line. Right now, it's just about good defense and rebounding.
Shaka Turkey gets it up and is going to the line, and that was a great drive. Had it fallen, she would have had an and 1. With 1.3 seconds remaining. I don't know that Turkey's players know the free throw disparity, but
I hope not, because you know mentally when you have missed a free throws as a player, you go to the line and that you're thinking about that. I'm not sure if they know it is as bad as we get to see, because we have the you know, the game information in front of us, but 50%, 52% from the free throw line.
Ooh, she makes both. She took her time calmly. Ice running in her veins, goes to 7 of 10 from the line. Shaker Turgot's done her job at the stripe, and it's a 1-point game.
You know, both teams in the bonus. This game could get interesting if you have to start to foul.
Woo. France leading by 1. They get it down low to a Yayi.
And another missed. Oh, that to me, you have to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, Valerie Yayi, you're the kind of player who you expect her to make that.
She just hit a go-ahead 3. And McGowan somehow gets it, then loses it, gets it back, and then Lacan comes over and the ball goes past out of bounds. Great swarming defense by the French. And most turnovers, 8 in the third quarter. Turkey, they've got 3 in this fourth quarter. Now they're going to put some back pressure on in the backcourt. See if they can force another turnover, perhaps. Fittick on Lacan. No, this is going to drop back. Fittick playing big minutes here at the end of the game. France surely have to go down. Fittick goes down. They get it to a Yayi from the corner. Her second big three-pointer in the last few minutes. And experience, confidence, been there, done it. EuroLeague Women champion, multiple Olympic medalist.
You know what? This is actually Yayi. This is her 6th women's EuroBasket. She has never got a gold. She has medaled in every single EuroBasket she has participated in, but never gold. How badly do you think she wants it? And I have to say, I'm going to be talking about this all week long, the next 2 weeks if France gets out of pool play. I believe that anything Valeriana Yayi touches right now turns to a podium place finish in the last couple of years. And if there's someone that you want to rely on at the end of the game, absolutely get the ball to a Yayi.
Well, she did. She did miss the layup down low, but curiously, she's been able to hit the shots a lot farther away from the basket.
And you know, obviously France, we have 6 returning players from that Olympic team that finished silver. You know, tight game to the U.S. that they ended up losing. And Yayi sort of took a little bit of a back role as far as offensive scoring goes for that French team last year and the last EuroBasket, I think, just because of players that they did have around. I think this is her moment, and she has proven that she can do it on the offensive end for France.
Absolutely, 14 points. She's only 4 of 13 from the floor, but her big contribution has come late in the game in winning time. And look at that 13-5 run in the last 6:23 for France. And just illustrates again, but of course during that run you've seen Turkey miss free throws. 38.4 seconds left. They advance the ball, so they lose 10 seconds off the shot clock. So Turkey will try to strike quickly here. So certainly because of the shot clock and the game clock. And they get it to McGowan, and she is fouled. And I think they will take that because hardly any time goes off the clock, which means, and this is a big if McGowan can make both free throws, then they play defense, and then they get a chance to go down and score.
She's not a bad free throw shooter in her career. You know, tonight she's 4 of 6, absolutely respectable. So it was the bump, right? Yeah, just kind of bumped her a little bit too long, stayed on her, was Janelle Salon. As she's going to the bench because I believe she's fouled out.
She is just fouled out of the
22
game.
22 points.
Takes her time and makes the first. France not out of the woods yet. Turkey fans looking on in hope. McCowan takes her time, makes again. Boy, that was big-time free throw shooting. They haven't made many, but she has just made the 2 biggest free throws of the game, 5 of the 7, which now means Turkey have to play D and get the basketball to go down and try to score. If France score here, it's going to be very difficult for Turkey. Lacan drives, Ayayi hands it off. Brochant's in, you know she can shoot it. Over to Lacan. Lacan's got to launch it. It's a 3, and it's McCowan. It's coming down to the wire, folks. Turkey have it. Shakur Turgut. They don't need a 3. She's going to drive to the basket. She's going to spin. She's going to pass it back out. They got to get it up. It's going to be Onar. She does. She gets blocked right at the end of the game. Heartbreak Hotel for Turkey. It was the right play. Shakur Turgut maybe could have driven and tried to score. And you just got to pay tribute to that French defense right at the end. Another key block. They shut things down in the lane. And they hold on by the skin of their teeth. France defeat Turkey 71-69 in the first game of Group A here at the FIBA Women's EuroBasket.
Final score, Türkiye 69, France 71. Winner of the game.
Well, I said it would be devastating. Definitely if Turkey can beat Switzerland and then beat Greece, they will finish in the top. So really now the challenge comes for Ekremimnum and those Turkish players to draw strength from this performance rather than to be dejected.
And you said, what is it? Is it worse to sort of lose this when you have literally, they were up 38 minutes of this game, let's be honest. Yeah. And, to lose it. But in my opinion, you turn around and you turn this into a positive because you say, you know what? We almost beat France. This is a team that if you're in Europe, you want to play as well as they do. And, I think that they proved themselves tonight that they can go ahead. They can beat Greece. They can beat Switzerland because guess what? They almost beat France. And this is the way they need to motivate themselves. I can guarantee you tomorrow in practice, they might be doing some free throw shooting because fortunately we haven't seen the statistics yet for this game, but 19 of 33 from the free throw line. For me, that was the difference maker, or that was the reason that they lost because they did everything else correct.
We called that earlier in the game, in fact.
Yeah, there it is. You know what?
You can't shoot in the 50s and expect to win.
They held France to 41%, 26% at 3. Everything else, they out-rebounded them. Everything else was more or less even. Yeah, they had more turnovers, but you know what? They had performances. They did what they needed to do at certain times. But had they shot the free throw ball a little bit better, they would have maybe possibly won this group, and no one would have predicted that before the tournament started.
Well, to your point, they led 31 minutes and 7 seconds of this game. France led for just 4 minutes and 14 seconds, but crucially at the end. And you know what, Shona, you don't win. Look at this play. You don't win titles on day one of the FIBA Women's EuroBasket or any basketball competition.
No.
You win it at the end.
You win it at the end.
Now it depends, how do you respond? Do you go back and you kick the locker room and you feel sorry for yourself, or do you say, hey, let's forget about it. We just took the number 3 team in the world to the wire, and we've got a chance to do something. Yeah,
you rebuild, they're here, they're playing tomorrow, they don't have practice tomorrow. They're playing tomorrow. They're playing against Switzerland. You say, we got to go out. We got to get that win against Switzerland. We got to recover on our off day, and we got to get ready and prepare for Greece. That's what you have to think about, because I hope this game motivates them. This is one of the best Turkish performances I have seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah, there's only positives as you look at the replays here at the end. Don't forget Minya Toure as well hit that big 3-pointer. We saw Ayayi, the veteran, come out, score late. I think this becomes a great win for France because this is a wake-up call. They could have lost it. They won playing ugly. They couldn't throw the ball in the ocean if they tried, standing on the beach right at the water's edge. And yet they hit the shots when they had to. They toughened up on defense. And I think they know they can play better. And this is a team that will have possibilities. Yeah, there are definitely positives to draw for France. So, with one game in the bag of a very long tournament, an exciting tournament, I might add. 71-69 for France over Turkey puts France right up at the top. In first place in Turkey with that participation point. Or in second is Greece against Switzerland. Coming up next here at the FIBA Women's EuroBasket.